Well, hello everybody. Something weird happened with yesterday's um, morning walk. It just didn't work for some reason. I don't know why. Hold on here. Gotta make sure I have everything. Okay, I got my keys and all that. Come on. Come on. Today we are walking down. My voice still isn't back from that hockey game. I lost my voice during the hockey game, and we had such a good time. And I was talking about that yesterday. Gab, you can't smell every tree. You can't smell every tree here. Hopefully you guys are seeing this and there's not too much of a problem. Usually there's a flea market going on here. We're in Spanish Springs this morning. Hold on. I'll turn it around. There you go. We usually go for a walk here. It's pretty nice. I try to mix it up for them so they get a little bit of something different every time we go. Sometimes we'll just go down the driveway, which is a mile onto itself. Come on, girls. Come on. Come on. Monday starts probably our last auction for a while. And boy, there is a lot of stuff. My daughter helped me Thursday get it all together. But I found more stuff to add to it, to some of the boxes. I'll be showing that off on Sunday, which is tomorrow, yeah. I found things that would fit really well in each of the boxes. You know, like there's a painting box that we're going to have where it's full of airbrushes, compressors, paint kits, and stuff like that. Come on, girl. Come on, come on. And hi, Krylan. How are you? And what we're gonna do is I'll go over all that stuff, and I found I'm getting rid of a lot of stuff. This is kind of last push, and also I started filming videos about why I decided to keep some things. There's some big games and some different types of games I decided to keep, and you know, this whole process, you know, I guess you know I kind of do playthroughs and reviews and stuff like that for years, as we all know. And one of the things that I kind of find is, if you're one of those guys that has a ton of video games, you know what I mean, and you buy a video game every time it comes out, okay, you put it in you load it up into your console, computer, whatever, and you play it a couple times, and a lot of times you don't play it all the way through. Come on, come on. But if you're that person that can't afford to do that, and maybe you get a video game every 6 months, okay, what are you going to do? You're going to play the shit out of that game that you decide to get. And that is where I'm trying to get myself back to, where I'm not overwhelmed. Now, thank God I get review copies and stuff like that to keep things kind of fresh. Come on, and keep the channel really going. You know, I have some great people, you know, GMT and stuff like that. We have to smell every tree. These two. I'm here. Hold on. I'm going to finish this in a minute, but hey, this one. This is the one today. Come on. Come on. Holy cow. Make it tough. And over there, as you can see, everybody's kind of setting up for a little flea market that they, well, you know, farmer's market as they call it here. But so I'm trying to get it down to a point where I'm going to start doing playthroughs. And May 1st, I'm going to start taping playthroughs again. I haven't done it in a long time. There's just been too much confusion and everything going on. But I wanted to get the collection down to where I really put some time into a game. This way, this way. They're confused because I changed the pattern today. And by doing that, I think you're going to get more out of it. And there's some really big games that I kept that I said, you know, these are great because I've always wanted to go through these. You know, I don't care if there's a million videos out for certain things. Like Kingdom Death Monster, I was on the fence of keeping that, but I decided to keep it. The reason being, I have the gambler's chest. I have all these neat little things, and I painted a lot of it. And I said, you know, this is such a unique game. Why don't I do a nice series on it? You know, and then, you know, I already taped a series on Warhammer Quest, and I wanted to do more stuff by Little Monk. He's coming out with a Chaos book that's supposed to be really, really good. So, you know, it's another thing that I kind of want to go through the whole series with and show you why 95 is one of the best games ever made. You know, I want to get back to Subbuteo, which I love, you know. I loved it every Sunday morning doing, you know, the live things. I can't do them live. Maybe we'll even bring back the Tiger, who knows. That was always a laugher. But just really make it where, oh, come on, Bella, this way. Ugh, today she's fighting. But just change it up a lot, you know? And get back to the basics, you know? You know, if you know, I'm gonna put a year in, a really good year, I'm gonna get back to the basics. Now, I've got videos all the way out to, I think, April 30th. And I keep filling more in because I've kind of, like I said, I wanted to cover some of the VR stuff. When my comic books come in, I like talking about them. And I thought that would be a little fun, a little, you know, it's not taking over the channel. But this is a board game channel, there's no doubt about it. And, you know, I really want to, okay, get this way, this way, this way. I really want to emphasize for once on the things that really mean stuff to me and that I'm enjoying, because that makes, all right, there's a car that came by. That makes for better videos, I think. At least I think, you know. I mean, what do I know? I haven't figured this out yet. It's actually only supposed to get up to 75 today, which is, in April, you're usually looking about 84, 85. Can't stand the heat. Well, this is where my wife wanted to live. And if my wife's a Floridian, I guess that makes me one too. I mean, what are you gonna do, right? But there are so many things that I want to try to accomplish. And clearing out, you know, this next auction is going to have 11 lots, okay? And some of them are pretty big. And the way I'm figuring out, why is she dragging her foot a little bit? One mystery lot is going to be very big, and it's a game that's really huge. And the second one I'm making where you tell me what type of games you like, and I'm going to fill a box with it. And I figure if I can do this, because the way I'm looking at the shelves in the garage there, or the studio as we're supposed to call it. Come on, girl. Air-conditioned garage, right? I'm having the room where I can kind of condense everything and make it just smart and controllable. I think when you have too much or excess of something, it just gets out of hand and you can't keep up with it. I don't care who you are. You know, you sit there with a pen and paper and say everything that's on a certain shelf, but are you going to be able to get to it in time? Leave the squirrels alone. Oh, he was right there. And I think that's the thing. I think the thing I run into, come on, is trying to just get to that point where I feel comfortable and that I'm able to really project, you know, the games I want to showcase. So that's my thought, and that's how we're doing things. It's going to start. We already taped a video, but we'll be talking more about it tomorrow from the studio, of course. Come on, girls, come on. You know, I always enjoy doing these morning walks if I can get it to work. I did one the other day. I took my daughter. I'll finish with this story. Took my daughter to, and if you haven't seen the short that we did, it's pretty funny. we went to go see the Maple Leafs play. Now, I've been a Maple Leaf fan for, you know, most of my life. Okay, since I can remember hockey games. You know, I don't know, 50 years, 55 years, whatever. And one of the things that I've never done, and I've gone to a ton of Hartford Whaler games, you know, and I like the Whalers, but I wasn't a fan of them the way I was Toronto. But I could never line up my life to go to a Toronto Maple Leaf game back in the day. Weird, I know. And we got to go see them play the Lightning. So we took the day, we went down. We went down the Colony Bar and Grill, which is makes some of the best bar pie you'll ever have, and it's originally from Connecticut, of course. So it tasted just like it did when I was back there when I was a kid. I brought back like 9 pizzas, which I'm still feasting on this very day. All right, come on, girls. And it was a great game. We won in overtime, but my daughter, who had never been to a hockey game in her life, just, you know, lost her mind. And she had such a good time. She said, "I'd do this again, Dad. This was so much fun." And she wore one of my jerseys, and you know, I just have some pictures that I'm going to put up on Instagram and stuff like that. That just mean a lot to me because, you know, there's certain things in your life that you always remember. And that is just one of those things that I don't think I'm ever going to forget. The time that we spent, you know, it was an hour and a half drive. Go ahead, girl. I'm trying to get them in the car now. Go ahead. Up. And Bella, let her back there. Go ahead, Gab. Come on. Ugh, hold on. Everything's always got to be a thing. Come on. There you go. Everybody get in the back. Good girls. Everything's got to be a project. And, you know, I remember taking her to, when she was a little girl, to a comic convention, and we sat there in Lunchables watching anime movies about a princess and stuff like that, and it meant a lot to her. It meant a lot to me. I also remember a time when things were really tough in Connecticut, and I think my wife had lost her job or something like that. Well, not lost it, it went away because of Medicare cuts. And I went and sat in the backyard, and I'm going, oh, geez, what are we going to do? How are we going to pay the mortgage? And there's my daughter just playing, having a great time. And, you know, and I'm looking, and then all of a sudden this butterfly just comes by. And she stops what she's doing, and she sees the butterfly. And she runs after the butterfly, and I got such a chuckle out of that. You know, those are the things when you're on your deathbed, you just kind of, you take with you. And, you know, I love my daughter very, very much. Such a good kid. And it was one of those moments, you know, going to a hockey game with my daughter and having a good time. And it wasn't forced, and it was because I told her, you don't have to go. You know, I just didn't have anybody to go with because my wife had to work the next day. But we had a great time, and go Leafs. That's all I can say. And it was an important game because it's for the Atlantic title. So we had a great time, and just a lot of fun. Hopefully, I'll get my voice back in the next couple of days. What else? Oh boy, we've got a couple of VR videos that are coming up. I had gotten some codes from a couple companies because I wrote them, and I said, hey, you know, I got a channel. I'd like to do a review on this. And there is this Samurai Empire game. Holy cow. It's turn-based. It's kind of this really cool, just war game, and I like it a lot. So we'll see a review. I'll run through that and show you how it works. Very simple mechanics, but the graphics are just filthy. And playing it 3D or virtual or whatever you want to call it, really cool. Really, really, really cool. All right, guys, I will be back tomorrow morning. If my voice comes back, you know, we'll talk a little bit more. We got a lot of things to cover tomorrow. And, you know, we're already in the 4th month of this year. Boy, it just flies by. I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful day. I hope you have the best of days. Okay. Remember, tomorrows are not guaranteed. So, you know, you got a good start to today if you're watching. And, you know, make sure that you, you know, make the most out of today. I think that's the best thing you can do. Right, girls? Yeah. Okay. They don't care. But make the most of it. You know, live your life the best you can. And just, you know, hopefully we get to see each other tomorrow. And like I said, there is a lot of stuff up for auction, 11 lots. It's going to clear out a lot. I've actually got I found some stuff for some people, so I got to send that. Also, so that'll go out. I'm only human. What can I tell you? David, how are you, my brother? You have a great day too, pal. And make sure you check us out tomorrow. And, you know, we do this again in the morning. Only I'm going to take them for the walk and then come live in the studio because we could talk a little bit better there. All right, guys. Love you all. Hope everything goes well. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day.